It's football season. I'm 1-0 and Doobie isn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
Doesn't
Sorry.
matter, bro. My
Hey,
Chargers are 1-0. That's all I care about.
you can't crown somebody after week one. This is why this is going to be the biggest overreaction fantasy football recap in the history of fantasy football recaps. Because the power rankings were literally the easiest thing to do, except for like those that lost. I feel like those, like, there's some that lost and lost players, and then there's like those that just put up a boatload of points. You're like, you can't really question that team overachieving until you get back-to-back weeks of that. But yeah, we got the rankings down below. We're going to talk about them. But hey, man, real quick, though, before we get too much into it, Doobie, and you're doing this with me tonight. But now the plan is we have 9 other people in the league. So we're going to put this in a rotation. We're going to try to get someone new from the league to hop on this every week to talk about the Fantasy Football League, including our 5 partners. We have 5, dude. We got 5 partners for this. Like, that's crazy. Very thankful.
Awesome.
We're living a stupid life, Doobie. Stupid life.
First world problems.
First world problems. Oh, I ain't mad. Yeah, this ain't a problem. This is a blessing. This is first world blessings, man. So, without further ado, let's get to the sponsors of this year's 2022 second annual Dude Network Fantasy Football League. Can't start it without Cleveland whiskey. Just can't do it. So all the shots. And this year, all the tiers of losing fantasy football will be chased down with Cleveland whiskey. But if you don't want to drink the bourbon, well, first time partner of anything, Evil Genius Beer, man. How about that? Out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, now available in Ohio. We got connected with them. They wanted to get a part of it and be a distant participant. They're donating some cool gear to the winner of this year's campaign, so that's going to be real exciting. Dude, they just have them up with an Annie Ann's pretzel beer. I mean, that sounds pretty good. That sounds delicious.
I mean, serve that with the brisket sandwich. I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, that could be salty. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, that could go.
Or like nachos, dude.
Oh, yeah. Or drink it with like pretzel and cheese. Yeah. Hell yeah. Anyway, Branch Barbecue. We all know them. We love them. Award-winning Fieldhouse mustard, but don't forget about the Branch and Branchero. Literally one of my favorite condiments to put on so much more than just sandwiches, mac and cheese, pork,
chicken nugget.
the Branchero nugget.
Nugget sauce.
Honestly, if you just wanted to get like a fun sauce for your kids to dip in that's not like unhealthy ketchup, like Branch is definitely the way to go. Redbeard Seasoning. Not Redbeard Seasoning, but we love them. He's involved, sure. Redbeard, thanks. Free shout out to Redbeard Seasoning. Sorry about that. Evil Genius Brewing Company. We already talked about them. I am killing it. Willow Seasonings and Blends. We love David over at Willow. He's only got like a couple bottles left of the Colorado Gold 1859 for now.
Yeah, get it
we go to the co-packer. You know why he has to go to a co-packer, Doobie?
Because we keep buying him out, man.
Everybody. It's not us, man. Everybody buys the guy out. So
I know every time I know he's dropping something, as soon as I know it drops, I'm ordering at least 2 or 3 bottles right away because it sells fast and it always will.
He announced he had 10 bottles left, and John Z came on and swooped like 4 of them.
I mean, that's the way it goes, man.
That's the way it goes. And also, Redneck Chef Boudreaux. I want to try to find his logo here. I'm going to feel sick to my stomach if I don't have it. Oh, no. All right.
It's there somewhere. You just got to dig.
We got to dig. We're going to find it. Found Naked Bacon.
I was going to say, that's one that just popped up on my end here.
Oh, no. We're looking. Redneck Chef Boudreaux. Seriously, we'll get the logo for next week. We won't keep this going too much. Sorry, Redneck Chef Boudreaux. I got to get that logo. But let's just go ahead and talk about what he's got, because it's literally everything. He's got, like, some of the best, like, it's not like steak sauce like A1, but he's got his own steak sauce. It's delicious. Like, anybody that likes steak sauce with their steaks or anything like that. Like anybody that's had it was like, that's really good. I have placed very well with his chili seasoning. It's like a 1 pound bag. It's enough to get you through the whole year, a few bucks. His fish fry batter is amazing. He now has seafood seasoning that just came out. Super excited to try that.
He's got crab boil.
He's got crab boil, which I've done on
stuff.
like chips, like deep fried tortillas, and maybe in tortilla chips and like put some of that on top of it. Oh my God, that was so good. And also his Pitmaster's blend, pinto bean, rib rub. I mean, just the heart of Texas for his flavors. A lot of them are family, passed down the family line. We're super happy to have him in here. He kicked ass last week. You know, he came in. He's number one in the power rankings, Redneck Chef Boudreaux. So let's go ahead and give him some extra love there. He came out. Who did he beat the literal dog crap out of last week? I got the breakdown right here. Let's see here. Week 1, he whooped up on Mr. Auto Draft. Oh man, was there anything more sweeter than that? If you didn't win, you at least know that the auto draft guy did it. You know, and he didn't only he got boat raced, man. He got only 102 points to 141. 40-point blowout, most lopsided. It was not the most lopsided. The most lopsided was Amber whooping up on the tax man, whooping up on Johnsy, 138 to 87.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and David whooped on me pretty good, man. I feel like.
Yeah, actually, did you know that it'll break down the recap for you? Did you read the recap?
I did not read the recap yet.
Oh, you're going to love this recap. It paints you out very nicely. There's no way around it. D00BIE underperformed, at least according to projections, as high as elevation cruised to a 121.88 to 80.3 victory. There was very little drama in this one, as high elevation leapt out to a 39.2 lead on Thursday. You got buried on Thursday and never came back, man.
Yeah, but man, hey, I was reading some stuff and I ended up drafting 2 New England running backs. Who the hell does that? Way to go. And so, I'm reading up on which one's going to get more reps. The guy that they say gets more reps. I mean, and that's how the first 2 or 3 weeks of fantasy always goes for me. I feel like the first couple of weeks, you got to feel everybody out. You know what I mean? You got to feel out your players, see who's coming out hot, who's going to there's some of those players, they don't heat up till like 3 or 4 games in the season, and then they're starting to get more targets, more catches, all that. But like the first couple of weeks, you kind of don't know. And then there's people that flop, and then people get hurt. Dak Prescott,
Right. Well, I mean, that's just the way it goes. I know I hate to brag, but I want to know. And I'd like to thank Dak Prescott's bum-ass thumb for that victory. Thank you. I didn't know if I was going to win or not, and it came down to Monday night, and they had Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and I was like, man, I even texted him. I was like, let's go Tampa Bay defense. And then, I saw Dak break his thumb, and I'm like, I hate to see it. It, dude.
Keenan Allen went out first quarter for me, man. Yeah. So he didn't even catch a touchdown. He caught like 2 passes, and they were big passes. He scored like, I don't know, 6 or 8 points or something like that off the 2 passes he caught before he went out, but he never even got a touchdown.
Well, let's take a look.
One of my running backs didn't even get a touchdown or any points at all. I got like 0.
No, man.
Like it was like one of those weeks I was like, oh man, I hit the waiver wire hard, so we'll see what happens this next week.
I'm curious to see, who's draft. I know like Johnsy's, he's overreacting. He's cutting everybody. You're overreacting. You're cutting everybody. You guys are leading the path for moves made, and I appreciate that. I just want you guys to know. I love that you guys aren't satisfied with your efforts and you're taking it seriously. And you're like, I will find somebody buried in the waiver wire that'll take me to the promised land. So I can win some free beer and Cleveland Whiskey Garb and Branch Barbecue at Redneck Chef Boudreaux, Willow, and Branch. Let's roll.
Gotta do what you can do, man.
Gotta do what we can do, man. Far as the power rankings, like 1 through 5, that's basically whoever scored the most and won in the first week. So I was the low point for the winner. So I got lucky. I'll admit I got lucky, but as the old saying goes, better lucky than good. Justin Jefferson was a guy that I drafted the first round, and I didn't really want that. By the time I got to pick, though, all like the top running backs were gone. So I went with him, and that panned out pretty nicely because he had like 200 yards of all-purpose yards and like 2 touchdowns, and I got like 33 points. So he was my saving grace. On power rankings 6 through 10, Doobie, you'll have to let me know what on the 10th. But I also realized that Cleveland Whiskey lost Dak Prescott for a few weeks. So they lost. They were 9th, and they lost their quarterback. So no offense to Cleveland Whiskey. We got to put it. Someone's got to be dead last after the first week. It's going to be them. They replaced Dak with Carson Wentz. They went with the Carson Wentz. They rode the hot hand. Carson Wentz had a 20-point, 22-point game in the first week. So hopefully – he takes them on, everybody stays in it. In a perfect world, everybody be like 1-1 after this week, except for me, of course. And yeah, and then like everyone's like back to square one, and we can just season starts in week 3. But not how it works. So Doobie, what's your strategy this week, man? I mean, you got a tough one. You got let's see here. Who do you got this week? You have you got auto draft. All right. So Doobie, if you lose to the auto draft, I think you gotta do like a branch chug or something, man. We can't have it. Man. I think everybody will be like, yo, man, check out this guy, check out this guy, check out this guy. Everyone's gonna want you to win. Sorry, Jared. You didn't show up for the draft. We're all coming for you. So I'm thinking of punishment. We haven't really announced the punishment. And so I want to run it by everybody. But I think if anybody says no, they're not really part of the Dude Network. I think the dead last team has to do a live branch sauce chug at the end of the season. Hell yeah. I think that's like, I mean, it's delicious. I mean, it's not like you're drinking bad stuff. It's just a lot of condiment in one sitting.
It's something.
You down, Doobie? You're the one that's right now. You'd be doing the. Technically, you would be doing the branch chug. So, how do you feel about this?
I'm not dead last.
And points, yes. Power rankings, no. Points, yes.
No, it's too early.
All right, he's not worried.
I won't be in last.
He said, "Dang, hey, that's all you gotta do is get 9th, man, to avoid the branch chug." I think, yeah. So. Branch, we were talking to Branch, and like everyone got like it's funny, whoever got the best team was Texas born, and it was an auto draft, and they got one of the lowest point totals in the first week. So goes to show you, does not matter what you do on draft night or what they say about it, anybody could win. First week is a little weird too, because like a lot of the offenses don't play in preseason anymore, so there's a lot of rust. So I think the second week's going to determine. I think we're going to see higher scores this week. That's what I think. I think we're going to see some crooked numbers. That, and everybody's like super healthy right now too. So now that we're starting to get a few injuries trickle down through, like TJ Watt's out for the Steelers. That might change their whole look of how they play ball, because he gives them turnovers and short fields. So now, like Pittsburgh offense, are they going to be getting as many points because they're going to get more field to work with? Maybe like Dallas, now you got the ripple effect of CeeDee Lamb. Everyone's going to focus on Ezekiel Elliott. Is he going to get more? Is he going to get less? So it's all part of the strategy, man. You almost need to get like that guy that's like a solid backup running back, and you like hope for someone to get hurt in front of him, because now you got to look and see who gets hurt, right? You have to look and see who gets hurt and who their backups are.
Yeah. And you gotta play the waiver wire, man.
Yeah. Now I know you're gonna know like every single. Now, do you feel you overvalue Chargers? In your honest opinion, you're a big Chargers fan. Do you overvalue Chargers because you know more about those players than any other team, and you're like, I know what I'm gonna get with this guy, so I want to go with that guy?
I feel like at times, but not all the time.
I think the running backs, Doobie, the running backs, the running back room of the Chargers got you in week 1 a little bit.
Well, what got me in week 1 was the draft was clustery for me. Like being last, you have to pick twice in a row. And then when all the people you want get picked right before you pick, then you got to pick 2 people. And I haven't played fantasy like regularly or like been super into it in a
Like
few
the last
years.
year, we didn't really take. It was a lot going on, and it didn't get. We kind of didn't take it as serious as we intended to. But this year, it's serious.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
doing
this year is a
coaching.
little bit different. You know, I'm a little bit more in it this year than last year for sure. But I just feel like I know, like I've watched enough Chargers news and stuff like that, and at least things in my division that, like, when it comes to the AFC, I know most of the good players around. When it comes to the NFC, it's a crapshoot for me. But I don't really watch a lot of that. But then again, being in New Mexico, man, you don't get a big choice in what's on TV here. You know,
No,
it's Cowboys or Broncos. Anything outside of that, you better have the Sunday ticket. You know, it's kind of you don't get to watch a lot unless you have a ticket here, and so it's been tough. Watch a lot of highlights, go off of Red Zone, you know,
right.
but trying to get more knowledgeable
You're
again.
going to get there, man. It really just comes down to. Oh man, I'm still looking for this redneck chef Boudreaux. I still can't find it. It's driving me crazy. Love him. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Now, who I have this week is here's this week's matchups. I'm going up against Nombre, Mr. Alfregoni himself. Whoops. He's actually projected to beat me by about 5 points, 120.76 to 116 point. No, 4 points. So it's going to be a close one. You are scheduled to lose by 21 points to Texas born 121 to 100. You need some guys to prove the projectors wrong, and you hope that on both sides of yours, Dewey. But I feel good about it. I tell you what, the closest one on paper this week though is Johnsy and Branch. How about
Let me
that?
just say that they are not giving the Chargers defense enough love in the projections. You know, like I think we're projected to get like 3 points or something.
Well, you're going up
Last
against
week we
Kansas
had
City's
5
offense,
sacks.
though. No one against Kansas
Yeah.
City's offense is going to get a lot of points, but they're capable of it. I think that's like if they have a decent game at all, you'll at least double that, you know?
I think the Chargers are going to surprise some people tonight against the Chiefs, man.
Oh, that's right. It's Thursday night. Oh, that's right.
Thursday
Dude,
night,
you,
man.
you get to watch the game?
No, I'm going to be on the road, man.
Dude, you can watch it on your phone. You got the Prime app. Put on Prime.
Yeah.
You can watch it in your dashboard like a really responsible driver.
America.
America. Welcome to Ohio. So Johnsy and Branch. Johnsy is projected to win. How about this? 110.64 to Branch's 110.33. That's a good one. And then the second closest preview is Cleveland Whiskey trying to get back to 1-1 with Carson as the quarterback. Trying to knock off Willow's David Slade and high elevation domination. But David won 12.69, so favored by 1.5 to beat Cleveland Whiskey. And then a battle of two undefeateds. That's what's cool about this. Only matchup this week with both teams 1-0, and that's Redneck Chef Boudreaux and the Taxman. Redneck Chef Boudreaux projected for 104.6, and Taxman projected to 120.63. Texas-born, your opponent is projected to have the most points this week. But we have also, hey, these auto drafters, sometimes they forget to check that lineup, Doobie.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he watches and he's like, great, I'm the auto drafter. It's like, well, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Looking at his bench, his bench is pretty thin, though. You don't have anybody projected to 10 points on the bench. So Texas born, he's susceptible to the injury bug. He's susceptible to the injury bug.
know.
But you done making moves for the week? Are you going to see who else gets dropped or what?
I'm good for the next week at least.
What do you think you need? What do you think's the most sought after position in fantasy football? Like, what are you looking for personally? What
I'd
do you think
probably
that?
say a running back is up there on the list.
Yeah, if you can find a good running back. There are what's nice about I went with 10 teams so we could always find somebody. You weren't getting like a third stringer that you hopes he gets like 10 touches in the red zone and gets a vulture touchdown. But yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. Well man, like I said, we're gonna keep this pretty short and sweet. Projection for this week. How bad do you win or lose, Doobie? Give me a score.
Oh man, I think I might come out. We'll
How many
see.
points?
We'll see if I can win by the skin of my teeth.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Let's see. I want to look at your roster. I want to see who you have on your roster that I feel. You know, they gave you a better draft grade than me, by the way. They gave me a C minus.
What was mine?
C.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine wasn't great.
Hey, man, just like we did in college, C's to get degrees, bro.
Hey man, whatever you gotta do.
Hey, I'm one to
It's
know.
all about the hands you shake, right?
That's right. Well, first off, you had Jamar Chase, who had an absolutely terrible first week, and so did the whole Bengals offense. So Jamar Chase alone could get you like 25, 30 points this week. And then Hunter Renfro, again, stud. I think he'll do all right. James Robinson, Jacksonville, that's a guy that, yeah, it's him and Etienne, so that could be he'd be all right. Melvin Gordon, what's good for you is the guy ahead of him, Javonte Williams, had a couple fumbles last week. So will he get more touches this week? That's the question.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm not dead set on Gordon either, man. I think about pulling him, moving my other guy that I have in the flex down, and then playing another receiver because I have some decent receivers. So I'm on the fence there.
you
But
do. You do. You got Bateman against Miami. That's going to be Miami's defense is just one of those defenses we just don't know what we're getting yet. Like they're supposed to be good and they played well last week, but again, you're going up against guys that didn't play much of the preseason. So defenses are going to prevail in week 1 9 times out of 10. Look, think about it. The Eagles-Lions game was really the only like absolute shootout. Like it was the only game where it was like an absolute plethora of points.
one thing I will say about the Chiefs game was like it was a really high scoring game between both teams. And I feel like the defense, like the Chiefs get a lot of credit, but they do let a lot of teams like score more than 30 points. You know what I mean? Like their defense isn't that great. If Mahomes wasn't who he was, the Chiefs would be like,
You almost like wonder if their defense like takes plays off because like we got Mahomes. Like he'll
I
get a
mean, you wonder because
you wonder.
it's
It's
just
a good
like
point. It's a fair point.
they don't they're deep like a lot of Chiefs games are really high scoring. You know what I mean? Like last year, a lot of people bagged on the Chargers, but like the games we lost, like people weren't scoring 30 points. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Right.
like 21-14 or like 21-17 or like 2017. It's like a field goal off or 2 points off. It's down to the wire, you know? Like it's definitely more a battle of defenses sometimes with like a really good offense. Whereas the Chiefs, it's always like they'll play the Lions and the Lions will put up 30 points. Yeah, the Chiefs will put up 50, but where's their defense at? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with a quarterback like Mahomes, they're expected to put up numbers against anybody.
They
But,
should,
like,
yeah.
like,
Well, and that's the other thing too is like you're going up against. Let's see, in your matchup here this week. I don't think they have anybody, but like let's see, they have like DJ Moore in Carolina. There's like 4 wide receivers that could all carry the charge for him. So like that one's really really hard. Um, and then he's got like Eckler, and you already know that like the Chargers backfield pretty unpredictable. Like Eckler should on paper get more points, but what if they don't have to run the ball? What if they get down by 20 points in the first quarter and got to throw to catch up? Like, that's all part of the game that you just don't know. And that's why it's called fantasy football, because if we were really that good at it, well, we'd be hanging out with Wyatt Teller,
Right. I
in
mean, even
his kitchen
Eckler
coming on the
himself
Dude
said,
Network on Tuesdays and talking Cleveland with his wife, Carly,
like even Eckler was like, yeah, after my performance, I don't even know how many reps I'm going to get against the Chiefs. Like the Chargers have 3 pretty decent backs in the backfield. Like Eckler's obviously the go-to, but he's also more of the finesse guy, like the third down guy, the trick play guy, the yards after catch kind of like bubble screen or whatever. Like he can run up the middle and be a bruiser, but he's not a big dude. That's not his forte.
Yeah.
He can hang, but that's not what he's all about. So they really lean on those other two to be that. Get those 3.5 yards per carry so you get the first down,
Look at you, Doobie.
Eckler's not always that guy,
What position did you play? You played, right?
Yeah, I played. I was nose guard.
Running back, wide receiver?
No, man. Tight end.
Tight end, believable. Running back, wide receiver, that was a joke. Because that would be like me, like, yeah, I started quarterback. Yeah. Nose tackle. I was too, man. And we played 5-3 scheme freshman, sophomore year. And I loved it because I would jump the count and you always had the center. And like when you're in like high school JV ball, like the center's not very good at snapping and like lifting up their head quick enough. So I would just like come down and beat their head down and swim move. And I would like, I intercepted a quick pitch once. Then they changed. They went on 2 and I like jumped off sides by like 5 yards. And yeah, that was the end of that. But it was a fun play. It was a fun play. Yeah, believe it or not, I was a lineman too. It's hard to believe.
Hey, man. I love the line. Linemen don't get enough credit in the world.
Defensive line was fun. Offensive line sucks. Like, I hated offensive line. There was no glory. You didn't get the pretty blondes with the line. You got, like, the girl braces if you were on the O-line,
Oh, man. Football wasn't about what kind of girls you got for me, man.
I didn't get girls, man. I had no game.
Bruiser, man.
Still don't have game, as a matter of fact. I still think Alyssa feels bad for me after all these years. I still am convinced. I'll never change my mind. Never.
No.
All I know is the Browns are going 2-0 this week, baby. With Brownie the Elf at midfield. How about that? Did you see how many people were dumbfounded by that? Like, who would have thought?
That's crazy.
Everyone's like, oh, wow, look how stupid it is. Like, what's the elf? And it's like, well, that was when we won championships. Brownie the Elf was our logo. So why the hell would we not go back to the guy that was like all our championships? Anyways, speaking of championships, I appreciate you playing for second place to me this year, Doobie. It's really nice of you.
No, man. We'll see.
Oh, man.
You might be the first place loser. We'll see.
Oh, might be. Yeah, I don't want to be second, man. I'd rather be 8th. I'd rather be 9th than second. No one wants to be the first loser. But third place is cool, too, because that means you won your last game, and not many people get to finish with a dub. So I want to take that, too. All right, Doobie. Well, I appreciate you, man. Best of luck this weekend in Taos. We'll see you on the Friday night kickoff, maybe this week, maybe not.
I might be more the after party this week just because there's going to be live music and a concert going on the whole time.
Okay.
So
that's right. You're going to be up in the
beautiful pretty loud
Taos.
where I'm at.
You're going to be up in Taos on one of the Earth ships. I already know it.
Well, it's the Taos Mesa Brewing Mothership. It's like this outdoor brewing venue kind of deal. They got a big, almost like an amphitheater setup. They got a big concert stage and it lights up and they have all kinds of they can do psychedelic visuals on the stage and all kinds of stuff with the lighting. It's going to be.
Sounds trippy.
It's going to be trippy, man.
Well, I'll make sure to pop some acid before the show starts. That way, by the time the after party comes on, I'll be ready to rock and roll.
Oh, man. Get your mushroom on, bro.
Oh, yeah. Get my mushroom on. But no, seriously, we got BT Lee coming on Friday. I'm really excited about that. He's going to talk about his time on the PBS Great American Recipe Show. And he's got sauces and lineup, seasonings. He's a Cleveland guy, born and raised Cleveland guy, believe it or not, but he lives now down in Kentucky. So him and I have a lot in common on cooking styles. And he's an unbelievable chef that does some really cool recipes. So He's going to be a good culinary guy to have on Friday night. But again, thank you to all our sponsors here tonight: Cleveland Whiskey, Evil Genius Beer, Redneck Chef Boudreaux, Ranch Barbecue, and of course David over at Willow Seasonings, sauces and blends. Thank you, Doobie, for hopping on here real quick to do this. It's been fun. This will get more entertaining as the week goes on. We'll get somebody on here that just feels that they were absolutely robbed and have a meltdown, and that's what I'm here for. But hey, it's football season, baby. Into you. I should be over all the butterflies. Into you. There you go, boy. Touchdown. Get in there. I like how the one guy goes, shit.
Man, I mean, some of those hits, man. Gotta keep your head on a swivel when you're playing football, man. You don't want to get caught with your pants down, not looking.
Man, there's nothing worse than getting blindsided, and you're just like, you're already like off balance, and you just like wake up on the ground. You're like, man, how did this happen? Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Doobie, we'll see you, man. Good luck this weekend. Let's bring it back to 500, shall we? I'll meet you. All right. Yeah. We'll see you guys later.